probably should have started with that. Anyhow. Okay, we got a minute to go. 1 minute to go. Okay, time to get started. What was that? Oh well. Ah, she goes. Better? Better. Okay, so here we are. Yeah. Nobody's here. Eh. Let's just get started. Where should we start today? Let's work on Backbiter some. We did a lot of work on Manny. We did a lot of work on Manny last time, so yeah, let's do some work on Backbiter. Age is unknown. It. Hmm. Yeah, let's go and nickname him BB. He has a sword. He is a sword. He is a magic sword, but he has a sword. I guess we could go and put his length. I don't have picture of the hilt anymore, but it was about 2 hands, a small gap, and then a 3rd hand in length for the hilt. So the hilt itself is probably going to be about a foot long. The blade, let's come back to that. technically he would be a follower of Dragon. And at the start of this, technically he would be missing, so we'll go with that. Current location is unknown. Technically he would be affiliated with the Church of the Dragon. He has a scale belonging to Dragon that she removed and gave life and form. And she bestowed it upon her mortal children. Given name is Backbiter. No middle name, no family name. No maiden name. Personal history, let's see here. Backbiter has existed Hold on, I need to check my notes on something. Question is, did I put it in my notes? I don't know if I did. In which case, I am going to need to go. I do not think I did. Let's go on. Alright, let's see if I can't go and find where I would input that fun little bit. Just keep looking, just keep looking. Oh, hey, B! Welcome to the show, B. Ah, ooh. Found some interesting stuff. Okay, so going off of that, clear up this up and up a bit. So how you doing, B? Alright, so originally we had 129 remaining swords. We had 129 swords, of which there are virtually 129 living swords that were given to the first 129 of the Dragon-Blooded. Hold on, this music's a little loud for me. Ah, there we go. Okay, I can hear myself think now. Let me know if it's too quiet for you. So, of the remaining, there are 55 remaining blades. There are 55 remaining swords. Of the Dragon-Blooded, there are only 37 remaining families. So currently we only know of Backbiter, Challenger, and Survivor. That's the only ones we've created so far. Should be able to manage from here. So Backbiter has existed since Dragon first created the 129 swords. And technically they're living blades, because not all of them are swords, but they are all bladed weapons. Alright, so for generation upon generation, has worked faithfully for whom he was originally made. However, he was eventually passed down, eventually taken up by let's check my to-dos. So we got Terry, Marcus, Charles. Perspective hook. He is the character that we go and our perspective is seen through his eyes. We have Backbiter. stream might get a little weird. Give me a sec. And I lost the chat. Alright, give me a sec. I'm fixing it, I swear. Yay! More troubleshooting. Nope, not that one. There it is. Oh, maybe I did have the right one. I really should have seen needing this come. I'll get it. I'll get it working. I promise. Just give me a sec. Wrong one. So 1580 by 2, 790. Okay, first window fixed. One of these days I'll have my stream set up appropriately the first time around. 90. Okay. There we are. I think that... Oh. There we go. There we go. We got it right. We got it right. Yay. I need an applause button. Do I have an applause button? I think I might have an applause button. I don't think I have an applause button. Alright. Back to the world building. Alright. So, we have Manny, we have Backbiter, who eventually becomes Mani's Living Blade. We also have Amber, who is a dragon-blooded protagonist. Or slash tier 1 character. We have her Living Blade, Survivor. We have Charles, another tier 1 character, dragon-blooded as well. No, Charles... no, Charles is the bad guy. He's not a protagonist. He does not belong in this part of the list. I'm talking about Marcus and his Blade Challenger. And we got Terry, who is human. And for the time being, we're going to give him Tier 2 status. I know there's some people who will go and want to bump him up to a Tier 1 character, but for now we're going to keep him Tier 2. That's side character status. Not necessarily background, but side. Antagonist, that is going to be Charles. He's going to be a pain in everyone's butt, because that's what people like him do. Okay, we got that noted down. Yep. However, when he was going back to Backbiter's personal history. However, when he was eventually taken up by Charles, the two's relationship quickly dissolved. Well, essentially, Charles, the way I'm formulating the character, Charles was very possessive and controlling of Backbiter, and instead of seeing Backbiter as a partner that he fought with, he saw Backbiter as just any other sword that had to go and work for him. So their relationship quickly collapsed, and eventually, during a Hellscape battle, Backbiter just essentially Backbiter made his hilt after he had gone and been resheathed. Backbiter made his hilt fall off Charles, and Charles didn't notice. So as Charles escaped, Backbiter remained in the Hellscape. Oh, need to plug my phone in. Do not want to lose the character, lose the avatar. There we go. That should go and keep it running. Till one day, he is picked up by Monty the werewolf. Monty the wolf. Gender identity. He is a sword. He is a magic sword. He is... he is a magic sword. God. Ugh. Well, first achievement. He has a magic sword. Crafted from the scale of the god that made him. He left an abusive master. That's an accomplishment right there. It's literally the exact same one. Telepathic. Dandelion. Not be treated. Like just another sword. Here's the question. What kind of morality would a swords have? That's a good point. Actually, Xerxes, and welcome to the show. Though, you would think his education would be sufficient for, you know, having been created by a god. But he's a magical sword created by a god, that's notwithstanding. He also probably received the training, the combat training. I don't want to use the term possession, but that do any of you have another good term for possession? A good synonym, one with a less possessive connotation? I don't like possession. I don't like ownership. It's actually... Ooh, I like that one. Proprietorship. Guardian? Not. He doesn't really need a guardian, but proprietorship. The estate or right of owning a business or holding property. Yeah. Ooh, during their charge of him. Yeah, I like that. And it's probably going to be the same, ooh, partnership? Their partnership with him. Bonding would work, but it's, Yeah, I don't think bonding's the right... It works, but it doesn't in this sentence, if that makes sense. Because there is a bond between them, but I think partnership works best. During their partnerships with him. Because he has a telepathic sword, he understands the languages of his owner, or of his partner. So he would probably also go and exist with their knowledge. He would gain their knowledge throughout time, as they go and work with him. Intellectual characteristics and morality and philosophy. We'll come back to that. Because what kind of morality does a sword have? What kind of morality would a sword have? I think they do. I think it kind of depends on the sword. And depending on the partner he has, the person he's bonded and chosen who can wield them, it really depends on the situation, the people that he goes and works with. I think at this point... That's weird. Does that help at all? I move myself a bit closer to the mic, adjusted the volume a bit. So, how's my sound coming? But it's still only coming out the left side? How about now? Volume better? Or, you already said the volume's better. But is it coming out of both sides now? I don't know how to fix that off the top of my head. B, Xerxes, it coming out only one side for you guys as well? Alright, Zytrus, we'll go and work on fixing it later. I'll probably go and drag you into a private stream where we just go and troubleshoot and try to fix it, and yeah. Okay. Back to the world building. Alright. Fair enough, B. Fair enough. So, Xerxes, going back to your thing. I think for now, unless he's given very good reason why not to, I think Backbiter will only fight in the Hellscapes. I mean, he can be forced. He has some limited control, but it'd be like trying to work if you're trying to fight with your sword, trying to go and not work with you, if that makes sense. Which is essentially what it would be. Like, imagine trying to swing a hammer, and the hammer keeps going all these random different directions. Yeah, it just wouldn't work out well for you. And if you try to go and force him otherwise, outside of very specific situations, he probably would go and, well, jump ship like he did with Charles. His body is a sword. Ooh, special abilities. Shrink or remove, or at will. So he can shrink or extend his blade, or just make it completely disappear, and he can hide himself as well. And he also comes with a magical sheath that equips it to the one that Backbiter chooses to wield him. I will get back to to his body features and how he looks, because I still don't have that image anymore. I need to go back and get it from the previous streams, and I haven't had a chance to go and look for it. See what type of blade, sword that hilt goes with. So I'll do that eventually. Desires and priorities that drive this character. So Backbiter has all the living blades have this need to go and face down the hellscapes. It's part of how Dragon went and made them. So it's kind of an instinct to go and fight against the hellscapes. What else would go and motivate his magic sword? If his partner treats him and protect his partner. I don't know if he has any famous quotes or catchphrases yet. I need to think on that. I think he'll go and I think he likes Mani. Has a... Is there a dislikes? There's not a dislike section. y'all can hear that, that's my cat. He's coming to say hi. The blade of the yet unnamed family. Here's the question. There are currently 37 of the remaining original 129 dragon-blooded families. Should Backbiter belong to one of those lost for one way or another families? Or should he belong to one of the remaining 37? As in, did he go and belong to that family line all the way through, from the beginning and down? What do you guys think? He's a sword, so he didn't really rule over anything. Again, he's a sword. He doesn't really need... Well, he does have contacts, relations, and other affiliations, though. Or would he consider the other swords family? Yeah, I think the other living swords would be considered family. That is a good question, Zytrus. That is a good question. Well, Backbiter's personal story. And generally speaking, the story goes and revolves around Mani and Mani's journey. But Mani's journey is also deeply tied to Backbiter's journey. And Backbiter's little subplot that's going on. One way or another, Backbiter is not going to accept Charles as the greater fighter. He would go and leave if Charles ever tried to take him up again. He would just go flat out. He did as he did before and just eventually just disappear. Leave Charles in the lurch. But part of that is also that he would go and want to challenge and eventually see if Mani is worthy of him. Hello! Thank you for joining. Mind if I call you Pinky, or, I'm doing a bit of world building. I had this very weird dream a long while back. Something like a month and a half, 2 months back, something like that. And I decided to go and world build it out as an actual story. Maybe even... I don't know. But we're going and we're writing it out. We're making a world out of it. And happy to have you join us. We're currently working on this living blade called Backbiter. Backbiter. Living blade. Sword made from the scale of the god dragon. His hilt is roughly three hands long. And curves at the ends. Maybe a little bit, definitely older than Percy Jackson. Like, this would be young adult, early 20s rather than kids. So we're not talking like teens, preteens. We're talking late teens, early 20s. Whereas Percy Jackson was tweens to early tweens to teens to, well, in the later books, he's now heading towards adulthood. But, yeah. Definitely kind of Percy Jackson-y feel, maybe. Maybe. We're still working it out. It's still very early. 4 world building streams in, and we're still considering this early. But yeah, happy to have everyone. His blade at full length runs from the tips of the hand to the shoulder. Curving back towards his wielder. Alright, he's not a deity. Titles, reigns, the other living blades, will work on contacts and relations, because he will have those. There are people who will recognize him. But, we'll work on that after we go and develop them a bit more. Wrong type of relationship I'm looking at. Yeah, none of this is relevant. Okay. Let's get a little bit of a preview. Backbiter, aka BB. Backbiter is a living blade, a sword made from the scale dragon. His hilt is roughly 3 hands long and curves at the ends with a notch. Curves at the end with a notch 1 hand down from the top. His blade at full length runs from the tip of the hand to the shoulder, curving back towards his wielder. Special abilities include he can shrink or completely remove his blade at will, and can make himself invisible at will. He comes with a magical sheath that equips itself to the one who Backbiter chooses to wield him. That's a good question. I think it has something to do with... I think it would have something to do with the nature of the threat that the Hellscapes posed. You kind of... like, it's so great that you would need something more than just a plain magical sword. You needed a magical sword that could think and assist its wielder in order to go and fight. Kind of like how the Jedi use the Force when they're doing lightsaber combat. Kind of like that. Backbiter has existed since Dragon first created 129 living blades and the 129 dragon-blooded who would wield them. For generations, Backbiter has worked faithfully with the family for whom he was originally made. However, he was eventually taken up by Charles, and the two's relationship quickly collapsed, and eventually, Backbiter, during a raid on a hellscape, fell from Charles's side, disappearing until, one day, he was picked up by Monty the Wolf. Gender identity: he is a sword. Sexuality: he is a magic sword. Education: he is a magic sword created by a god. He also received the combat training and educational lessons that his wielders experienced during their partnership with him. Employment: he is a magic sword created by a god to fight against encroaching otherworldly evils that would consume the world as they know it. Accomplishments and achievements: 1. He has a magic sword created from the scale of the god who made him. 2. He left an abusive master, and let's be fair, leaving an abuser is always an accomplishment. Failures and embarrassments: he allowed himself to be controlled by Charles. Mental trauma: allowed himself to be controlled by Charles. Taboos: he will not be treated just like another sword, to be wielded as his master commands. And he will currently only fight in the hellscapes. Motivation: he has an instinct to go and fight against the hellscapes. And if his partner treats him well, and as a partner, he will fight to work with and protect his partner. Not like fly around, but he can tug and pull, stretch himself out a little bit more. It's kind of like the subtle things that will go and save you in combat rather than being a fancy flying sword. It's more like, how to phrase it? He can move, it's just not much, typically. So he's more inclined to work with his wielders rather than try and do stuff on his own. No, Backbiter would... No, Backbiter would not appreciate being used as a back scratcher or being called back scratcher. Actually, I think I need to add that. I think I need to add that as a nickname. Okay. I think we can say that for now. Backbiter is done. I still need to come up with a honorary... I need to come up with a name for his family. Yeah, he kind of identifies as a he. Deal with it. I have it, yeah, pronouns, he, him. He considers himself a sword. He has a sword that uses he, him. See how that looks. Yeah, I like that. Presentation, sword, in all caps. Here we are. I need to go and fix this. Ah, no, bad. It's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay. Alright, I think we can safely call Backbiter done for now. Yep, I can safely say Backbiter for now is done. Shall we work some more on Monty or move on to another character you guys think? Right, I did say he was an asshole. I mean, it's fair description, but... You know what, let's work on Charles a bit. Charles is going to be the big bad for this whole thing. Well, not the big bad for the whole thing, but he is going to be a primary antagonist for a while, since he wants Backbiter back in. He's essentially an entitled noble and has the noblehood, nobility, whatever. Essentially, he's rich and he's got influence, and we'll use that to try and get Backbiter back. So he's going to be a problem. So let's work on him for a bit. Let's put him at about 53 years of age. Charles is definitely uses he, him. Species. He is one of the dragon-blooded. Which is also an ethnicity. What do you think his eye should be like? He is one of the dragon-blooded, but should that have... I mean, with the serpents, actually, have I written that down? I don't think I've written that down. Oh yeah, here are the deities we have so far. We have dragon, serpent, wolf, crow. We could do cranberry red. Just have them be red for now. And that actually kind of fits. Where did I have something on dragon. I have something on dragon. Wait. Is it under... silly me if it's actually under dragon's description. Shoot, I meant to right-click that. It's saved. I'll just open it in a new tab. All the new tabs. Oh, hush. Here we go. depicted as having eyes the color of rubies. So yeah, having red eyes would go and fit. I think that would be one of the traits that she goes and pass down to the dragon-blooded, who are kind of her mortal children. She's depicted as having iridescent white scales. I don't think that would necessarily go and... We'll come back to this. He is male. I think he would be masculine in appearance. Let's have him be tall, so 6'5". We could do anime white-haired nobles. Maybe not, like, pale. Because, again, at this point, he is still a soldier. He's still fighting for his, or he would be fighting in the hellscapes where he can. He spends time outdoors, practicing, training, keeping that going as is his duty and responsibility as a member of his house. So, tanned white. With white hair. I'm also thinking he's going to be a bit on the heavier side, like muscled, so maybe about 200 pounds. And again, he worships dragon. Alright, so... Oh, I know. No, he's a head combat trainer. And the Dragon's Academy is kind of where all the Dragon's Academy is kind of where all the nobility go to get their training and education. Or at least all the ones, the remaining 55 blades are. Yeah, the remaining 55 blade wielders are. Well, 54. That would be interesting, to say the least. Primary organization Um, Technically, he's not part of the Church of the Dragon. He's not necessarily a holy man. He would not have treated Backbiter the way he did if he had. So I think his primary organization is going to be his family house. So, what would his family house be? What would Charles and Marcus's family house name be? His second affiliated organization is going to be the Dragon's Academy. Okay, so Zytros, I can't tell if you just pounded a bunch of buttons on your keyboard or what, but it needs to be something that they can go that can be pronounced. Because if I turn this into a book, then there's going to be an audiobook version of it, and if it's not turned into a book, but turned into something another form of media, typically they're going to need to be able to pronounce the name. How about Manul? Manul. Yeah, I like the feel of that one. Manul. House Manul. Yeah. Technically, I don't plan on using this as like an RPG world, but he's kind of lawful stupid. No. More, if I had to go and assign him an alignment, oh, that's tough because he is an ass. That's kind of the baseline character I have idea for him is that he is an ass. He is a stubborn, pompous ass, but he will do the right thing for. He will go and do his duty. He will do his duty. Let me put it that way. I don't just mean going to the bathroom. I mean he has responsibilities and he will see them through. He's just kind of an ass, and if he believes that there is something that he is there is something that is his by right, he will try to claim it. Fortunately, that doesn't extend to people. So, yeah. He's an ass. We don't have to like him. We don't have to like Charles. Ooh. Here's the question. Is he part... He is part of House Manul. But is he like part of the central House Manul, or is he part of a different one? Like, was he... Because, again, there are originally 129 Dragonblood, which means that we're at least possibly 129 Dragon-blooded families. There are currently 37. Some of them may have died off. There are currently 7 dragon-blooded families. Let me add that in. Some of them may have died off. Others, though, could have married together. So... I don't think he is a direct descendant of the Manul line. I'm thinking maybe Trashir. Lord Trashar, Lord Instructor Trashar, Charles Trashar. Yeah, I like that one. I like that one. What do y'all think? Trashar. Especially if the House Trashar used to be a thing, but is no longer a thing. So yeah, it could go and really go and... Yeah. So, ooh, this is a good question. This is a question. Do the family lines... Because keep in mind, dragon is a she, and the dragon-blooded are mortals chosen by dragon, and their lines follow her. Does most Western culture goes and follows a paternal line, but because of dragons' more feminine nature, or female presentation, let me go and put it that way, would they go and follow the maternal line? I need to sit on that one. So, we'll decide that in a minute while I'm still thinking that one over. Was the last of the Trashir line. I just realized part of his name spells trash. Did not even do that intentionally. Oh, that's funny. I didn't mean that, but it works so well. Was the last heir of House Trashir. Trashar. Last heir of House Trashar. Okay, people are going to be calling it trash heir. I need to go and do pronunciation. I need to add a pronunciation guide somewhere for this one. I can't unsee it now. I can't unsee it. They're going to be calling him Trasher. I did not do that intentionally, I swear. Can't unsee it. Wow, okay. Okay, so his father or his mother was the last heir of House Rashar, and ended up marrying and married into dragon-blooded houses. Let's go and put these down. That way I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. House Manul. Manul. It is an active, predominant house. And we have House... This one's gonna keep hurting me every time. Okay. Thresher. It is currently a recently ended house. We still have also Amber's house to go over, but we don't know that who that is yet. We don't have it. We're not working on her yet. Members. So we have Charles, of course. And we have Marcus. Manur. And I can't unsee it. I really can't. Alright, so he married it. His father, mother, whoever, married into House Manur. Bringing in. This brought about an end. The last heir to House Trishar. This brought about an end into the house. God. I did it again. Am I going to keep doing this? Probably. Should I just give up and keep calling it and just decide to call it Trasher? No. Will this be a thing? Probably. This, however, didn't. While this brought it into House Trashar. End of his house. The end of the house weighed heavily on his parent. Upon his parent. Who pushed Charles wield to use Backbiter. Take up the blade. Yeah, I think Backbiter has been part of the Trishar line since the beginning. You know, I am fixing this. I can't unsee it, so I'm fixing it. Trishar. Okay, that's better. That's better. That's going to cause me less pain. And claim honor for the fallen house. See Backbiter not as an ally. Which to use. A tool that must be used. should be used, not worked with. Alright. Entry caused Backbiter to abandon Charles, throwing the noble into disgrace. However, his talents and skills as a fighter alliances within the dragon-blooded families and his achievements, because I'm thinking he actually he's kind of like a war hero almost, because I think he actually was a really good fighter. He just did not have a very good relationship with Backbiter. He's like one of those people who's very, very skilled, but their interpersonal shit is completely messed up. So generally speaking, he's really highly thought of, but he's kind of an ass to work with. So his achievements against the Hellscapes secured him a position at the Dragon's Academy, the school for the nobility, heading towards the nobility on the military path. School for the nobility on the military path, especially those who especially those who wield the living blades. I think he's just gonna be a straight man, a straight male. Education-wise, he went to the Dragon's Academy. He probably finished, like, if not top of his class, he was among the top of his class. What do you mean by endeavors, I trust? There's a little bit of a delay, so I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to. Yep. That's especially early seasons endeavor. Very much so. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Sit down here. Where is it? Yeah, so for his character prototype, I think he's going to be like yeah. Mentally. But yeah, definitely that. He definitely has that personality type. Yeah, education. So, he finished among the top of his class. At Dragon's Academy. Which isn't actually that easy to do, all things considered. Dragon's Academy is actually a rather challenging institute to go and not get expelled from or not to fail out of. But it's very much expected that the nobility don't have that happen to them. But it's rare, but it's possible. Yeah. So, previously, he was a combat leader. So previously he was a blade wielder and a combat leader against the Hellscapes. Currently, he is a prominent member within House Manul and head combat instructor at the Dragon's Academy. And military advisor for... Yeah, he's a military advisor as well, I would think, given his experience in the Hellscapes. Specifically... I think he would have gotten some military achievements. Some pretty decent military achievements. Failures and embarrassments. Losing Backbiter, that's a big one. And that cost him big points within his circles. Yeah. And I think this is where we're going to end it for tonight. Thank you all for joining. we'll pick this up again in 2 weeks. Hope you all had fun. Thank you.